Prediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hi, this is Curtis Stone. Now, I've cooked a lot of food in my day. Steaks, salads, pasta, seafood, chicken, soup, sandwiches. I mean, you name it, and I've prepared it thousands of times. But even I can't cook enough to feed all of the 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger. That's 1 out of every 5 children. Now, luckily, there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food produced right here in America to feed every last one of those hungry kids. The only problem is getting it to them. That's where the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks comes in. They gather up surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across the country. We call them food angels, and you can be a food angel too. Come on, earn your wings by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Local, state, and national sports scores and opinions on ESPN Pensacola Sports Drive, starting now.
Good morning and welcome into Sports Drive with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Thomas, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday. Today has been one of those days. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like everybody's kind of moving a little bit slower today. Maybe it's just me. I had one of those nights where, of course, you can't sleep all night long, and then you get to that moment where you're finally just feeling like you're falling asleep great, and then you're like, oh, I have to be up right now. So no, that's just the kind of morning I'm having. I'm just really just joking. Every morning is a great morning. It's just a few days from Christmas. So much going on right now, just in sports and with the holidays. It's a stressful time of season for everybody, but it's also really, really exciting time for any football fan out there. So hopefully here within this hour, we'll be joined by DeMarco Artis. He is a free agent in the NFL right now, also was a national champion with UWF back in 2019, also was a Gulf South Conference champion in 2021, now is a free agent in the NFL. He's been playing in Europe a lot, so as soon as he gives us a call, and like I said, I feel like today is one of those mornings where anyone who was maybe just even a little bit tired or groggy, maybe people are having trouble getting up this morning. I don't know if it's just me or what's in the air, but I know that it feels great outside for me. I love when the weather is like this. It feels like football weather. There's so much to talk about, so much. I'm getting overwhelmed just even thinking about it. Yesterday, National Signing Day for all the high school students. It was a good day. One sad thing, goodness gracious, for FSU and KJ Bolden, and for Bolden to flip to Georgia. I had even read an article, right before that said maybe a day or two before yesterday, he literally was talking to media and saying, there is no doubt in my mind I'm going to FSU. That's what it is. I've made the decision. Go Noles is what he said. We do have a caller. Good morning. How are you? And who do we have this morning?
What's up, Kate? How you doing?
All right, we got DJ. We got DJ in the house. Well, I wasn't quite sure. I love it. Thank you for joining us, DJ.
I'm sorry. I was having a few technical difficulties.
Hey, that happens. DJ, I was just telling all the listeners, I feel like today's one of those mornings where it's like I don't know. Are you moving a little slower today? Today I just feel like
I
more.
definitely am.
I don't know what's in
Yeah,
the
I
air.
feel lethargical, very lethargical.
Well, something's in the air. So right now, if you're just tuning in, this is ESPN Pensacola. I'm your host, Kate Thomas. We are on Sports Drive with Kate. We've got a special guest, DJ Artis. He was a 2019 national champion with the UWF Argos, also a Gulf South Conference champion in 2021, a free agent in the NFL right now. So, DJ, again, thank you for joining us this morning. You always give
Yes,
great
ma'am.
insight, and I love it. So, yesterday, National Signing Day, I'm not sure how much attention you paid to some of that, but what I was just talking about before you gave us a call was there was a few guys that flipped yesterday, and it's interesting what has been going on, with National Signing Day in the high schools. But one big one, and I don't know how much you follow FSU, but for us, here in the Panhandle, we have a ton of FSU fans, and everybody loves the Seminoles. So they were hoping they got a great signing class, but there was one kid in particular, and it was KJ Bolden, and he made the flip and went to Georgia instead after he was quoted in an article saying, "Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind." So what are your thoughts on
Well,
that?
um, so my big thing is at the end of the day, a high school kid should do whatever he just wants. Like I truly believe that in some situations it's better for them to make that like last second slip. But I do believe a lot in today's recruiting is different because of the NIL situation. Like NIL is pretty much ruining everything.
It is, and I want to get to one how they're starting to bring the NIL into high school, but before we get there, they were talking about now. Every school only has an allotted amount of scholarships, right? So now with recruiting, especially at the high school level, I feel like it's different now because schools are more willing to take a chance to go grab a guy out of the portal who they've already seen play and who's a little bit older. And I feel like it has a direct effect on high school recruiting personally. I don't know if you agree. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I feel like the NIL thing is like so from what I understand, and I've been talking to my high school coaches. What I understand is like guys are barely even looking for high school guys anymore. Like it's like everybody would rather go in the portal, pay somebody a whole bunch of money that they know has been to a school and is looking to transfer and produce on the field. Like they don't really. I honestly think. I mean, not think. I know it's ruining high school too. Like that.
Well, there's a strange noise. I'm not sure if you can hear it, DJ. If you can help, maybe clear that in the background. But what were you saying again on this last thing?
Oh, I was basically saying that the NIL, the whole NIL, like the deals and stuff. I think it's good because I'm a firm believer that college athletes should be paid. They get, they make a lot of the revenue for the school. But like I said, I do believe that it's ruining high school like recruiting. A lot of high school guys that I know that was back in the day, back in when I was graduating, which is 2016, 2017. A lot of those guys are getting opportunities right now, and I know they're not now because of the whole NIL thing.
Well, it's honestly sad. That's what it is. I think that they keep on making all these changes in the NCAA. And before I continue this thought, if you are just tuning in, DJ Artis on the line with us right here on ESPN Pensacola. But DJ, it's sad because now next year we're going to move to a 12-team playoff. You've got all this confusion because it's different, from state to state with NIL. The transfer portal's crazy. Recruiting's changed for high school. Now they're talking about bringing NIL to high school. I mean, what the is happening like right now with like football when you go from the college football and now they're even trying to make it more like high school. I mean, I just feel like this is an entire different game than what we're used to. That's just what I feel, and I think it's in a good way because I do believe they should absolutely get paid because they deserve it. I mean, they're the ones bringing in the money. I'm not against the NIL, but I feel like at some point there needs to be some type of like structure or something, at least how like the NFL, is very structured. There's all because right now I feel like college football and even high school football in a way is the wild, wild west, and just, people are just kind of doing whatever, and it gives other people better advantages over others. Like I think the one thing that disappoints me about the NIL is that there's other schools and places that have the money to really pay certain players this NIL money that they're looking for, and these price tags are really high on the NIL right now. And there's other schools who are smaller. So do you think it affects these smaller schools who don't have that same revenue stream because they're not maybe in as big of a community or have as big as a booster club and so on and so forth?
Oh, 1,000%. I was reading something from Coach Rule not long ago, and he was basically saying in the transfer portal, going to get a good quarterback is going to cost you. I believe he said at least $1 million.
I think it's $1.5 million, DJ.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, for that to be a number for college players, it's kind of crazy. Like you would have never thought.
What if you got that?
I mean, you would have never thought three or so years ago that anybody was making $1 million at any point in college. Like that's crazy.
It's life changing.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm happy that the college athletes get that opportunity. But I do believe, like you said, there needs to be some structure. Like, I mean, at this point, there is no, like I said, they're not really going after high school guys anymore because why would we go after high school guys when we can just go in the portal and just find somebody who's already been at a four-year university and only has one more year? We can bring them in for a year and get a national championship out of them.
Right, and I think they're going after more of those guys, and I think the high school kids that they are going after, I think what's changed really immensely is the amount of recruiting they've now are doing for high school. Right. I think they spent a lot of time recruiting high school athletes in the past, and now instead of they're still spending some time, but that's not their main focus. It's just different, and it's unfair sort of to these high school kids, and that's why these high school kids now need all the exposure and everything they can have so they can put themselves out there.
Right. No, very unfair. So for like perspective, my high school is in one of the toughest, one of the toughest divisions in Florida. I know it goes in Florida. It usually goes up to 8A. Now I know they changed it to like Metro for it. Like they changed a whole bunch of
it's a bunch of stuff going on right now. We'll get into that in a little while.
But right. So long story short, I was like my high school is in one of the highest, basically the most competitive high schools, you can be in playing high school ball. So the film is valid. So we have a running back that's averaging 7.6 yards per carry, and he can't even find a home, which to me is insane because at any level, if you're averaging 7 yards per carry, like you're signed somewhere.
Yeah, I would think so. And you're saying that's at the highest level, of play here in Florida,
level for high school, for high school football.
And if you've seen the amount of talent, it's I always say there's something in the water down here.
Oh, for sure.
That swamp water, it's got some kind of
magical
something.
Right. So I mean, like I said, and back when I was coming out of high school, if we had a running back that was averaging 7 yards per carry, he signed. He's more than likely, depending on his size, he signed anywhere from at least a D1 to at the very least a low D2 or a D3. But this guy doesn't even have any really like looks or anything. And it's just, to me, it shows how bad the NIL is killing high school recruiting, because there's a lot of guys who really deserve opportunities who aren't getting opportunities. And there's a lot of guys who, when I was coming out of high school, if they would have been coming out, they would have got a lot bigger opportunities. They would have been able to get the Power 5 schools and stuff. And it's like the Power 5 schools doesn't even care. They don't even care about a guy who's coming out of high school anymore because it's just not worth their time.
Right. Well, they still want to be ranked up there with the top recruiting classes like the Georgias and the Alabamas, and Oregon at number 3rd for yesterday, which was interesting to me. But I'll tell you, Dan Lanning, just a quick tangent off this, he's a guy that seems like you would want to like run through a wall for. Just so passionate and just seems like a pretty cool coach. Again, if you are just tuning in, we are ESPN Pensacola. This is Sports Drive with Kate, and I'm your host, Kate Thomas. We have DJ Artis on the line. We're talking really NIL high school recruiting. Yesterday was National Signing Day. There were some flip-flops and some different things that went on. We'll get into that and more. Also, some stuff that's going on here locally in Florida. Talk some Thursday night football, some NFL, a little bit more college ball. Right here on ESPN Pensacola, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is Terrence A. Gross. Did you know that Florida recently passed a major tort reform package? The legislature reduced Florida's general injury statute of limitations from 4 years to 2 years. They limited attorney's fees in homeowners' lawsuits, which could adversely affect homeowners. For any injury claim, call me, Terrence A. Gross, at 850-434-3333 or visit us on the web at grossandschuster.com.
Big guys celebrate the holidays big. Little John's Big and Tall Fashions and Alterations has lots of great gift ideas for the big guy on your list. Holiday print apparel, accessories and gifts, and men's fragrances like Creed, Versace, and Christian Dior. Holiday sales are going on now with savings up to 60% off. Sizes extra large and up or tall sizes from large, tall, and up. Little John's has got you covered. The store has a brand new layout with more variety than before, so visit today. 5700 North Davis Avenue, Pensacola, or littlejohnsbigandtall.com.
Hey, it's Flint Lockwood here from Swallow Falls. My friends and I have just discovered these amazing living foodimals. But wait, we've also discovered a crisis that needs our help. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. That's almost 17 million kids. Our mission is to help solve hunger by teaming up with the Feeding America Network to get food to kids facing hunger in communities across the country.
Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks, helping connect children and families who face hunger to billions of pounds of food, reaching shelters, schools, and community centers in every county in America, including yours. Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. The NFL lives here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Thanks for listening to our sponsors. We now return you to your local talk with the Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Thomas. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We have DJ Artis with us, 2019 national champion with the UWF Argos, free agent in the NFL. He was a Gulf South Conference champion with the Argos. Just doing championship-like things all the time. DJ Artis, thank you so much for joining us. Had to get smooth with that one. We're also live, streaming live video. You can catch us on YouTube, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Oh, man.
Yes, so we'll have to get our video set working. We've got one technical thing we're trying to figure out, but once that happens, DJ, we'll have you on video, so face-to-face, and that will be great, and be able to really vamp it up. Yes, absolutely. Also, Facebook Live, all of our social medias at ESPN Pensacola, so make sure to follow us on that. So we were talking a little bit about National Signing Day, and also one more thing before we get right back into it. Give us a call or text us, because DJ's got so much knowledge, has been playing the game forever, still playing, a free agent, just works his tail off, like every athlete does. So he's got really great insight. So give us a call. Ask him a question. Ask me a question. Both of us. It doesn't matter. You can reach us and join in on the conversation right now, right here, 850-623-1330. Again, that's 850-623-1330. Just 623-1330. Call in. We're talking about National Signing Day. So, DJ, I'm not sure, how much you followed, but obviously Georgia did great, but they did lose a quarterback to Nebraska. They still got the top class in 2024, so it's obviously they did.
Was it the quarterback they lost? Was it? I know Nebraska had a transfer from Miami, Van Dyke, right?
Well, so I can't pronounce this. I'm going to do my best to say his last name, but they lost the number one QB. Georgia did. Dylan Raiola to Nebraska.
Okay, yeah, I did. I definitely did see that.
And so that was a big loss for them.
I think that's huge.
So we've got some Georgia fans here in the Panhandle, and I'd love to hear from you if you are one, or if you're not one, what you think of that. Maybe Nebraska's the team to play for. There's so many things that layer into when these kids are making these decisions. But yeah, so that was hard for them. But what they gained was an athlete that all Seminole fans truly, truly wanted. KJ Bolden, man, I can't believe he flipped. And I don't know if you saw that one, but he basically was, I'm going to go to FSU, talked about it in an article. He's not. It's okay. They still did very well, and it is what it is. But it's just what it boils down to is, one, there's not as many athletes that are signing and doing that type of stuff right this second, and a lot of it is due to the transfer portal and what all happens within that. If they're going to sign during this period, it's because they want to be able to go ahead and enroll in that university, so then they can be eligible to play the spring game and start showing off their skills. Is that pretty accurate, would you say, DJ?
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. Yeah, that sounds about right.
There's one more signing period. It's in February, so there's still more time to sign. But it's just it's weird. There's still obviously a ton of media attention on it, but I just feel like it's just not quite the same for these high school athletes as it used to be. My biggest thing, love covering.
Oh, no, not at all.
It's not. And that's why here, for me personally, one of my favorite levels of sports to cover is at the high school level. Just because being able to, the innocence, and these kids learning how to become young adults. That's what's so beautiful,
right.
and watching them persevere through adversity and have so many things on their plate. It's really inspiring to see, and I think for a lot of people who are coaches, that's probably why they do it for so long, because they make such an impact, and a positive one, on a lot of these kids' lives. And that's one of my favorite things. So another tangent for me right there. But look, Nebraska, go ahead.
I was going to say, I also feel like in high school, and I used to feel this way about college, but my feelings are starting to kind of dwindle on this. I feel like you can kind of see the hunger in guys, and it's a little different because you got guys in high school who are in, not non-ideal situations, and it's not anything they could have done or anything, sometimes anything their parents could have done. They're just not in ideal situations at home. And you have those type of guys, and those guys are really those guys really have that hunger, and it's just they're not making any money in high school. So it's like you see, I feel like, and like I said, for me, I used to see it a lot more that way in college too. because the guys in college weren't getting paid and they were, they're really, really working to make it to that next level.
Right.
But that's also now one of those things I feel like with NIL is kind of messed it up. And I know we're off the NIL, but I'm going back to it. I feel like with the whole NIL thing, I'm not going to say guys just aren't playing as hard because that's just not true. I'd be lying if I said that. But I do feel like there's a difference, now with that urgency to like, I have to be the best guy in the field. Or, I might not be able to make this type of money. Now it's kind of like, look, as soon as I sign to this school for college, I know I'm going to be making this type of money. So I got a little bit of leeway. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's kind of the way I look at it.
Right. And then maybe I can jump in the transfer portal and go to another school that's going to pay me even more money after I do that.
Right. Exactly. And I've loved watching high school and college ball for the longest, and that's the main reason why I just feel like those guys got that hunger in them. They need to, those are the guys who are really still trying to make it. So it's a little more, I feel like they play a little harder. And again, I'm not dissing anyone. The NFL plays hard, but I just feel like college is more exciting because of those aspects.
Yeah, they're different, but they're coming more alike. I feel like we do have a caller. Let's go ahead and take this. Good morning. How are you? You're live on air. Who do we have this morning?
Hello, Kate. It's Tommy.
Hey, Tommy. You are on the line with myself and DJ Artist. What do you have for us today?
Well, hello, DJ. How are you doing this morning, sir? Merry Christmas.
Oh, good. How are you? Merry Christmas.
I just joined y'all and everything. I heard you're one part of the National Signing Day thing. Did you hear about that kid in Texas from DeSoto High School who's 6'8", 380 pounds, and he's only a junior, and who's being highly recruited by almost every...
I heard about him, and I also saw a little bit of film on him.
I have not seen the film on him. I saw a picture of him. I almost thought it was like... You think it's fake for a moment.
He's a man-child compared to other kids.
Yeah, he's just big. He
can't
move. But the sad part about it is he can't move. He doesn't really have any ability. He's going to get an offer from a Power 5 just off of the fact that he's 6'7", and however, like he's gonna get an offer just because of the odds. And I love that for him. I'm happy for him. That's great. But he's not. I feel like a lot of people hype up size, and a lot of people hype up, because I know what you're talking about. Like Max Fresh posted them, they were like, "Oh my God, DeSoto has this huge guy," and I scrolled down and immediately was a clip of him getting exposed. So I'm not really sold on the whole fact that he's that big, but he could be good. He might just need some coaching, honestly. That's what going to college is all about.
And that's what I was going to say. He gets under the right coach. They get him at the right weight, everything, get him trained, strength and conditioning. Right. You never know. They do it in basketball all the time.
We might be talking about him being a first-round draft pick in the next couple of years.
Right.
You're exactly right about that.
Maybe for the NBA and the NFL. We'll see. I'm just kidding.
That would be
right, exactly.
Yeah, two-star athlete. But anyway, Kate, I just wanted to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
I hope you and your staff and everything have a blessed holiday season. I'm sorry you have to work on Christmas Day.
That's all right.
But that's all part of being a sports journalist. I have some news for you.
All right.
I don't know if you got to hear this or not.
Not yet, but you got about 40 seconds, so shoot.
My sister, Chris Godwin, who was the basketball coach at Pine Forest High School, just had the court named after her this Monday night at the school board meeting.
Oh, wow.
And a proclamation that Pine Forest High School's basketball court will be now named Christina Godwin Court in honor of her for all her achievements and accolades for 17 years of Pine Forest High School.
Well, I'm clapping. We're live doing a YouTube live stream. I'm clapping. Congratulations. What an honor. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tommy. We'll have to go check it out.
It'll be on Channel 3 News and all the radio stations.
All right. Well, I'm going to go tell everyone now. Okay. Thank you so much, Tommy. Merry Christmas. Always appreciate when you call. That's amazing to be able to have that honor and have that basketball court named after her, Christina Godwin. Congratulations to you and your family. Tommy, thank you so much for calling us and filling us in with that information. Usually all over
Christina.
all of that. DJ, let's take a quick break. Hold that thought, okay? We're coming up against the break. This is Sports Drive. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The holidays are the busiest and craziest time of the year. And if you or a loved one are in trouble with the law and need to get out of jail, there's only one person to call, Billy Clark Bail Bonds. For the most respectable, committed, and fastest bail bonds process in all of Florida, call Billy Clark Bail Bonds today. Billy Clark Bail Bonds will get you out of jail fast and respectfully. With locations in Milton, Pensacola, and Panama City, serving 12 counties in the surrounding Florida Panhandle area. For the best, call Billy Clark Bail Bonds.
Now it's time for another tip from ADX Digital, your comprehensive digital marketing partners.
Do you know the impact video has in the minds of your future customer? In today's world, the average person consumes up to 6 hours of video a day. That is 25% of their time. If that large of a segment of their day is spent watching video, what's your company doing to create consumable content? Does your marketing and advertising strategy reflect appearing where they're watching this content? If it doesn't yet, it will soon. We are ADX Digital, and we help businesses leverage the power of video by putting brands just like yours in front of consumers using a wide variety of video marketing strategies, including social media mirroring, OTT, Amazon, video pre-roll, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, and more. Ready to learn how we can do this for you? Email me today at connect@adxdigitalmarketing.com. That's connect@adxdigitalmarketing.com.
ADX Digital, your comprehensive digital marketing partners.
I thought I was too old.
I thought I was too young.
I didn't think I had what it takes.
How'd I find the time?
I went into a music store and tried some percussion. Keyboard,
guitar,
bass,
ukulele.
And before I knew it,
I could actually play a song.
why make excuses when you can make music? Just play. This message brought to you by the NAM Foundation.
ESPN Pensacola's play-by-play games of the week.
Thursday night in NFL action. It's the New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Rams at 6:30 p.m. On Saturday, it's an NFL doubleheader. Starting at 3 p.m. when the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then it's the Buffalo Bills clashing with the LA Chargers. Catch every pass, every play right here. ESPN Pensacola. Local, state, and national sports scores and opinions on ESPN Pensacola Sports Drive. Starting now.
Welcome back in. This is Sports Drive with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Thomas, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We're streaming live right now on Facebook, so just go to @ESPN Pensacola, as well as our YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330. So catch us on the stream. Also, feel free to join in on the conversation. 850-623-1330. Right now, we're talking to DJ Artis. He's a free agent in the NFL and has been working so hard, played ball all his life, plays edge, incredible player, incredible person. DJ, thank you again for joining us this morning.
Thank you. These introductions just keep getting better.
Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna start doing something where I just start writing introductions for people. I like to give a good introduction. I'll never forget another show I did. We have an FSU show, and it's with a lawyer. But I was like, the lovely, and I was talking about him, and I'll say the lovely Terrence Gross, and he laughed at me, and he said, and he said on air, no one's ever called me lovely, and I said, you sure are. I think I see all the positive in people always, and maybe it's to a fault at times, but like making people smile.
It's
like
a great attribute to have.
it is. And, when you see it happen in sports, and I talk about this all the time, when you have the right attitude when you're playing the game and you see the guys who are truly out there just having fun and playing ball with their friends, that's when I think those teams, they have great team chemistry and camaraderie, and it reflects on the field, and it reflects in their play. One kid in particular, Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner, he did declare for the NFL draft, so got to give a big kudos and shout out to him. Did you think Heisman winner? What did you think about him winning? Did you feel like they made the right choice?
Oh, he deserved it. Yeah, he deserved it. The guy, okay, the stat I was talking about the last time I was on air was that he accounted for 50 touchdowns. The last 4 guys that accounted for 50 touchdowns on the SEC team all won the Heisman. I believe it was Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, and Joe Burrow were 3 of them. So yeah, he deserved it. He had the best football season, I think, by a quarterback that not only just this year that we've seen in a while. And it was really impressive. I mean, LSU didn't have the season that they were supposed to have, but that's not completely on him. There's a lot more that goes into a team. That's why it's a team. So, but I believe he deserved it. He did great. I think they made the right choice for sure.
It was a good decision and nice to see him win. Gave a really amazing speech, and a shout out to his teammate who has had to undergo surgery for a brain tumor and is still on a very slow healing process, and I thought that was really beautiful as well. Yeah, it was amazing when they did look at his stats. He even surpassed Joe Burrow in several areas. And while we're kind of talking about quarterbacks, this is where I want to leeway into is I want to talk about quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And maybe anyone who you think should be considered for the MVP. It doesn't have to be just a quarterback, because there's one that I think in particular.
It shouldn't be a quarterback.
I think Tyreek Hill deserves a shot.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And he
deserves the MVP. It's not really a shot.
Yes, he does. And this is where it gets for me. I think with these different awards that you have, even in college and NFL and different things like that, I feel like, even for the Heisman, it's almost always goes to a quarterback pretty much the majority of the time. Sure. But the quarterback is always touching the ball, when you're on offense, and he has all these opportunities to build these huge plays and get yards not only through the air but on the ground, especially if you have really good receivers you're throwing to. For the other guys, I was so glad to see Marvin Harrison Jr. At the Heisman ceremony, but guys like himself, and then you've got guys like Tyreek Hill in the NFL, and I think he's one of the best. He is the best player to me.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so they're talking about people are talking about Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy, and all right, let's just relax here. First of all, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts has 17 turnovers. That's the very first thing. Jalen Hurts has 17 turnovers this season. If you ask me, a lot of the recent games they've lost have been on him. So
that's a big statement.
And then yeah, oh for sure, yeah. No, I mean the Eagles they're not great. The Eagles, if you ask me, I really don't think the Eagles are going to make it to the Super Bowl. And my favorite is the 49ers. So I think the 49ers are the team to stop right now because they're really that good. So
okay, so many things. I'm going to let you finish your thought. I'm going to have to take notes so I can rebuttal. Okay, go ahead.
And the other person I've been hearing a lot about is Brock Purdy. Without Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and that defense, Brock Purdy is somewhere he's working at a Five Guys. Brock Purdy isn't as special. It isn't a special guy. It's the guys around him that's making him special. As for Tyreek Hill is the special guy on his team, and that's obvious.
Well, I think it just shows through everything that he does. Truly, I mean, even after he got banged up the other night in the first half. He goes back in the second half. I guess his wife was like, she texted him like, what are you doing on the sideline? She's like, get your butt back in the game. And just pure adrenaline plus that emotion and passion from his wife saying, yeah, go get back in the game. And he did.
Sure,
And
yeah.
he did. I need to look into where his ankle status is now, because obviously he is probably the fastest man in the world. I felt like there was a time I was watching an interview with him and he was talking about comparing himself to Usain Bolt. What do you think about that? Well, he said he was faster. He would beat him in a race. I don't know.
About that, man.
I don't know. I don't
Isn't
know
Usain
which
Bolt
one.
like 6'4"?
You can call in and let us know who would beat each other, Usain Bolt or Tyreek Hill. Who would win in a race?
I mean,
what are we talking
honest,
about? What kind of?
To be honest,
the 300?
no. If we're being honest, Tyreek might not even be the fastest on his team or in the league.
All right, call us and let us know. 850-623-1330. 850-623-1330. Right now, DJ Artist on Sports Drive with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Thomas, right here on ESPN Pensacola. So we kind of got off on a tangent. We started talking about MVPs and then Tyreek Hill, and then I had to get into how he compared himself. But Tyreek Hill he's on fire. He carries the team. We saw what the Dolphins kind of look like when he wasn't playing.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, in my like, for me, the definition of most valuable player is if you take that guy off the team, does that team still run the same? And for me, I think you can plug in another quarterback with the Eagles and they'll be all right. I believe you can definitely plug in another quarterback with the 49ers and they'll be all right. But if you take Hill off of that Miami Dolphins team, I don't know where they're at right now.
Well, they've got Waddle. They've got
and Waddle's good, but do you think Waddle's the number one receiver though?
No, I do not.
Okay,
no, I do not.
Exactly.
But I
exactly.
do. What I do like is when they showed the video, and I'm not sure if you saw it, of the owners and everyone in their box seats at the game doing the Waddle, which was really great to see. And they're getting into it in Miami.
I think Waddle's a great player. I really do think Waddle's really good. But as for like the talent difference between him and Tyreek Hill is very obvious. The speed difference, not so much, but just pure wide receiver talent, like Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill is like, he's 1-on-1. Like, you're not going to find too many of them.
He's a fast man. There's some other ones that they don't quite match up to Tyreek Hill, but are also really dominant players in the league. We're talking about candidates possibly for the MVP. I posed the question, do you think Usain Bolt or Tyreek Hill, who is faster, who would win the race? You can call in and answer that, but also maybe tell us who you think your candidate is for the MVP right now in the NFL. 850-623-1330. 850-623-1330. Give us a call and join in on the conversation right here on ESPN Pensacola. So while we're talking about MVP, but because I also we've got to touch Saints Rams, and we'll get to that in a second. But who do you said Tyreek Hill? That's your guy. 100%. You're not going any. What about Lamar Jackson? Where do you think he falls? Is he being underappreciated right now for MVP race right now?
I
think he's being
underappreciated by Ravens fans.
Just
definitely not.
People aren't talking about him.
By the rest of the football world.
I just feel like people aren't talking about how great of a player and athlete he is, and what he's been able to do for this Ravens team.
I'm starting to think that Lamar Jackson is getting the LeBron James treatment. Like, he's just so good that what he's doing now is just normal.
Maybe.
The numbers he's putting up now, they're like looking at it and they're like, he does this, but this is regular for him. But he is having one of his best seasons, like statistical seasons to date. But I know what you're saying. I feel like Lamar should be in that conversation. But like I said, I just feel like it's just people are just so used to him doing good.
Well.
And this is also the first time he's played in December in a while, because he's been hurt like the past 2 seasons, I believe.
Well, we hope that he stays healthy. He was hurt forever and all kind of stuff going on with him, and then wanting to get paid and waiting that all the. It's been dramatic, and I was wondering how it was going to turn out once he did decide, hey, I will be with the Ravens officially again, and then I thought, well, is that going to cause like a weird culture, a weird something within their building? And it hasn't. He's playing one of his best games ever, and maybe just people aren't talking about him as much, but hey, I'm talking about him now, trying to give him a shot. I believe he deserves at least a look at in the MVP, but Tyreek Hill looking pretty good, and excited to see him continue to excel this entire time. Right now, Sports Drive with Kate right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk Saints, Rams, some more NFL, and then give us a call, 850-623-1330.
The Seminoles are here.
Down the floor to Green. 1-2 step for a three. Got it! Boom! It's good!
And looking for more.
Fletcher a three. Good! On fire! Cameron Fletcher! Look out below. A two-hand cram.
Catch the action all season long.
Fire up the war chant and plant the spear.
Right here on your radio home of the Seminoles.
Listen to FSU basketball on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Your home for Florida State basketball.
This is Sarah from Fishbone Orthodontics wishing you a safe holidays. Please don't drink and drive.
May your Christmas be filled with joy, love, and laughter. This is Paul Simpson and Anderson Subaru wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, this is Elizabeth at Bobby Likas Auto Service wishing you a safe holiday. Please don't text and drive.
This is Travis Thompson with Climatech wishing you a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing every state has in common: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids don't know where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Yet there are billions of pounds of surplus food around the country at farms and warehouses that could help end this injustice. But all that food is useless if it doesn't get where it needs to go. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. Find out how at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Green 18! On Christmas Day, it's an NFL triple-header. As the Raiders face the Chiefs, the Giants tangle with the Eagles, followed by the Ravens clashing with the 49ers on ESPN Pensacola. It's ESPN Pensacola's Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Thomas. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We have been talking a lot of football. Yesterday was National Signing Day. We spoke about that. We talked about some NFL, some MVP. Now we're going to talk about tonight's game, Rams and the Saints. We've got DJ Artis, 2019 national champion with the Argos, also 2021 Gulf South Conference champion, free agent in the NFL. And so happy again, and thank you for you joining us again, DJ. Really appreciate it.
Of course, I appreciate you having me on as always.
All right, so if you want to join in the conversation at any point, just a reminder, 850-623-1330 is the number to call, 850-623-1330. We're talking Saints, Rams. Okay, so I had the injury report for the Saints pulled up. First of all, the Saints are coming off a short week. They did come off a big win, DJ, over the New York Giants, probably their biggest win of this entire season. So right now, the New Orleans Saints, they sit at 7-7. And then we've got the Rams who sit at 7-7 as well. Big game. This one at SoFi Stadium. What is your prediction?
Oh man, that's a tough one because these are two not so great teams. I think I probably got to go Saints. Well, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I think I got to go Rams because I don't feel like the Saints can figure it out at quarterback. Like I don't know what's going on with their quarterback position, but I don't think they got to figure it out.
Well, Derek Carr is what's going on with their quarterback situation. You've got Jameis Winston as your backup. I don't know. You know, last time I saw Winston go in, he didn't do the best, but Derek Carr is not the answer for New Orleans. Point blank.
Thank you. Okay, so okay, good. I'm glad you realized that.
I realized that.
I didn't think he was the answer when you guys first got him.
I never thought.
Like you guys have been off on drafting somebody.
I would rather have. Honestly, I would have rather them maybe like developed Jameis a little bit more. It seems like he just needs more experience at this point, just because he has been off the field for so long. So when he does go in, you're not always going to be perfect. This is what I think. Sean McVay, we're usually used to also listening and hearing a lot more about Sean McVay and the Rams. He's been doing a good job, though, this season. There's just certain teams, and maybe it's like you said before, maybe people are just expecting it now, that are kind of flying under the radar. Right. They're not getting as much exposure, and people aren't talking about them as much. But I don't know why people aren't talking about the Rams as much, because their offense is incredible. They've got Matthew Stafford, who's a veteran, and just calls some of the best play calls ever. And then you've got Cooper Kupp as well. You've got... I just had their stats pulled up for some of their offense, and I'll get to it, but they're doing incredible. Then again, this game played in SoFi. It's Saints, even though, yes, this is California, it's a warm place to go. They're coming off a short week. They're possibly out one of their biggest players, and this will be huge. Cam Jordan, he's got an ankle injury, so I think he's been practicing a little bit. They have not, he's on the injury report. They have not ruled him out officially, but he is the bread and butter of the Saints offense. Then Chris Olave, he's got some type of ankle injury. One of the wide receivers, one of the better ones or best ones that we have right now with the Saints.
Oh, for sure. I think he's the best of you, in my opinion.
He is. Kendre Miller, also an ankle. He came in this season, actually, and he's been a great addition to the Saints. And just another one. Their safety, Lonnie Johnson Jr., he's out. He's completely out. Kendre Miller, questionable.
Yeah, it's very thick injury report.
It is. It is. And then Peyton Turner, completely out. One of their defensive ends. Look, they're known for their defense, the Saints are. That's what wins them games.
Right.
Then you have to have a short week. You go travel on the road. You go over to SoFi Stadium, which somehow I never thought that LA would bring out the amount of fans they do to games, but they actually do. So there you go. But you go out on the road on a short week. You've got a lot of your big defensive guys, a couple of your offensive guys who are injured and possibly either out or not playing, up against Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and all of their other weapons on the team. Do you think it's going to
Yes,
be close at all?
think,
I mean, it's crazy.
To be honest, I don't know. I really don't know what to think because, for example, I thought the Chargers-Raiders game would be close. And look what happened to the Chargers.
Right.
Like, I didn't think the Raiders were gonna come out and dominate them like that. So to be honest, like, this is one of those unpredictable seasons where I really can't call it. I don't know what's gonna happen.
This season has been wild. I'm curious, Colin. We've just got a little bit of time left right here on Sports Drive with Kate on ESPN Pensacola. Again, we have DJ Artist on the line. Call in, though. We're talking Saints and Rams, and I know we have some New Orleans Saints fans here in the Panhandle area. 850-623-1330. With all those injuries that I just went through, can the Saints get the win? They need this win right now because the NFC South is not so good. They've got still a shot at making it through. The Saints, they need this win. The Rams, they're at 7-7. They need this win. Both teams have the same record. A big game for both of these. I want to hear your thoughts. 850-623-1330. You can text in. You can call in. Just let us know. So going back to it again, yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous. You know what? I haven't looked at the Rams injury report, but with all of looking at this injury report, it makes me nervous for the Saints because the other thing that I've seen with the Saints this season is just Derek Carr, he makes a lot of poor decisions on the field. I feel like sometimes he's either doing great or doing terribly. There's no in between. And if he is doing great, it only lasts for so long. He did have a good game last game against the Giants, but I just don't know. I don't think he's really the right culture fit, honestly, and I think it affects that team greatly. The culture of the New Orleans Saints is the defense. It's Cam Jordan. I've met Cam Jordan multiple times. Sure. We had mutual friends. There was a time when I was living in New Orleans where they're like, oh, yeah, he's coming back. I was like, okay, cool. We all went out together. This guy is the life of the party. If he's like that just on a regular night with everyone else, imagine how he is on the field. You know, I mean, he brings that energy to the defense and to the offense. He's a veteran player. He's been with the Saints forever. I've covered him for a long time. And if he doesn't get to play tonight, that's going to be a huge blow. He may end up playing because they haven't put him as out or questionable quite yet. So I'm sure there is a chance, and I hope he does, and I hope Chris Olave does as well. It's they're going to have to make some changes, and they're going to have to adjust quickly with this short week, I definitely think. We'll see. Lots of good NFL that's been going on lately, and right now we've only got a few minutes left, DJ. Again, on the line with DJ Artist right here on ESPN Pensacola. What do you think right now? Who are you picking and looking at for playoff pictures when it comes to the NFC and then when it comes to the AFC?
Okay, NFC, obviously Niners, like I said, are my favorite. Niners, Eagles, Cowboys, those are the givens. I mean, honestly, outside of those three, I'm really not sure because the NFC is just kind of a mix-up. Like the Eagles, who we all thought were the best team by far in the league, or at least I thought, they're getting like beat up bad in recent weeks. But as of right now, my only three for sure in NFC are guys that have already clinched, which is I believe it's Eagles, Cowboys, Niners. I think it's one other team, but I forgot. But
right now,
AFC,
those three for sure.
Yeah, AFC. I'm gonna just give you my top three for AFC. It's got to be.
And we've got about a minute.
I feel like people sleep on the Bills. Okay, I feel like the Chiefs, obviously. I feel like people sleep on the Bills, but I'm gonna go ahead and give my top. I'm gonna say top four in the AFC and let you go. I'm gonna go Dolphins, Ravens, Niners, and Bills.
Okay. I'll give you mine because we are running. I'll give you my top two AFC. I'll go Dolphins and I'm gonna go Dolphins, Ravens. I'm gonna go Dolphins, Ravens.
Okay, I was going to say you can't leave Ravens.
And then NFC, I'm gonna go. Goodness gracious, it's terrible in the NFC. I'm gonna go Eagles, Eagles, Cowboys. No, not the Cowboys. Take the Cowboys out.
Where's the Niners?
I'm going 49ers and Eagles for NFC. All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take that.
We'll take it. This is Sports Drive with Kate. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, 7:30. We'll have another Sports Drive. Also, Tiger Talk tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
On Christmas Day, it's an NFL triple header. As the Raiders face the Chiefs, the Giants tangle with the Eagles, followed by the